Yes, I just want to talk a little bit about our integration with Dataset that we did quite recently. We put it in here during the summer. Just a little bit about me. My name is Malene. I have just about 25 years of Pure experience. We can talk about why it's 25 years when Pure is only 24 years old, but we can do that over coffee. I have moved around a little bit doing the support. I've been a Pure administrator. I have been a little bit of everything. Right now I'm a product manager. Until they get tired of that, they throw me at something else, I think. But we know that Dataset is enormously important in this research ecosystem. So when Elsevier recently announced that they were sunsetting Data Monitor, then we needed to do something else in order to make sure that you get datasets into Pure. So we started looking a little bit around. They moved it. So we started looking a little bit around on what could we do to make sure that we still get datasets into Pure. And we decided on pursuing an integration with DataCite. And there were several reasons for that. One of them is that we have been working with DataCite for many, many years. I think it was back in, was it 2015? We did our first integration with DataCite that allows you to mint DOIs on datasets in Pure. We recently expanded on that, so you can also mint DOIs on research output within Pure. And now we're doing it the opposite way, so we're pulling in datasets from DataCite into Pure. And so we had a good collaboration, very nice people to talk to. DataCite is a huge database. When we look at it, they have all these multiple types in there, some of them relevant for datasets, some of them not relevant for datasets at all. But when we look at the content type datasets, they had around 40 million records, which we thought was a great number to start with. And also, one of the main reasons for going for DataCite as an import source was that a huge percentage of the record that was in Data Monitor actually came from DataCite. So the difference between what we could get from Data Monitor before and what we can get now wasn't that big. For some universities, institutions, it's a little bit, the difference is a little bit bigger, but in general, this is what we came from. So we have built in a couple of features when it comes to DataCite. We're moving back to something we know from before, and for those of you who've been playing with Pure for many years, we built features that should somehow be familiar. So what we have done is we have allowed for manual import, so you can simply go into Pure, import a record. I'm going to go into details on it. We have set up what we call automated search. So we search for candidates, bring them in, but you need to import them. What we also have done is we have taken the available update functionality that is familiar for some of you from research output, where we can simply take whatever is in Pure, compare it to what's in DataCite here, and then update the records in Pure if you want to. And then we found a way of handling versioning, and I'm coming back to why versioning was important. And then I just need to say, one thing we haven't done is we haven't done a synchronization. So we can't get it synchronized into Pure, and it's not because we are lazy. We did investigate and really wanted to create a synchronization, but when we looked at the data, only 5% of all the records in DataCite have an ORCID ID or had an identifier that we could use for matching. So we couldn't do that. So if we were to do a synchronization, we had to match on name variants. And we didn't dare do that because it means your researcher would be assigned to dataset he has nothing to do with. So we decided on not doing a synchronization for now. And I know it's disappointing for many of you, but we haven't forgotten about it. So should DataCite come back with more IDs, we will come back and do look at synchronization into Pures. But not now. So just quickly, what we have done is we have changed configuration. For those of you who know Data Monitor, we changed the configuration slightly. So what we do is, as default, you will only be importing the content type data sets into Pure. But we had a look at DataCite, and they have other content types that might be relevant for you and might not be relevant for you. So we have allowed you to pull in a few more content types if you want to. But as default, it's only datasets that we import. Data Monitor did it the other way around. So Data Monitor had a long list of content types, and then you can choose to opt out of it. So it meant that a lot of you got datasets in that wasn't really datasets, but you got them in as datasets. So we decided on doing it the other way around, sticking with dataset, and then you can add on if you want to. The other thing we did was we put in a little configuration saying, you may not want to import all datasets or all relevant datasets from DataCite, but limit to your own repository. So we know there's many clients who upload their datasets into their own, let's say, fixed share repository or something like that. And now you can go into Pure and say, these are the only ones I want to import again into Pure. So if you don't do anything, you get all datasets that's available, but you can't go in and limit to your own repository or whatever repository you find interesting. But first of all, we did introduce a manual import. It means you can go in, you can search for your own dataset or search for a dataset and pull it in. So in this case, you have just put in a title of a dataset. I'm so sorry. And you can find that and you can import it straight up. What we also have done is we have allowed for automated search, which means that you have two ways of doing it. You can go in and set up an automated search on your organization. So you simply go into one of your organization editor. Most people, most institutions will do it on top level and say, I want to set up an automated search, find any relevant data set that mention my institution name. You can add name variants of your organization, and you can enter in ROR IDs. 8% of all records in DataCite has a ROR ID, so you might find some based on your ROR ID, but not all. This is one way of doing it. Doing on organization level, it means that you need to import it for your researchers. So if you don't want them to have the hustle of finding stuff and importing it, you can do it centralized. You can also choose to do it decentralized and say, hey, we want to allow our researchers to import data sets. And what we can do here is we can set up an automated search on person level. So each researcher goes into Pure, set up an automated search profile, search in DataCite using his name variants, and his ORCID IDs to find relevant record. We'll send him an email saying, hey, we found something, do you want to import it? He goes into Pure and just import it. We have also decided to do sort of a general configuration of it, so you can choose to go in and say, oh, I want to set up an automated search on all my active persons. It's just a click, and then we will simply set up an automated search query and then start sending him emails. So you should probably let him know, all your researchers know that this is going to happen, but it's general, so you don't have to have all your researchers logging in, doing it one by one. There's a generic setting on it. It looks like this. And you can choose what you want. It's in the configuration of DataCite. What would you like as an institution? Would you like to have it centralized, or would you like to have your researchers take care of it? What I forgot to mention, rushing in here, is that the DataCite integration is for free. You do not need a subscription to do this. It's already in your Pure. It's simply going in, set it up. For those of you who want to use DataCite for minting DOIs, there you need to have a subscription with DataCite. You have to have, but for importing, it's for free. It's a service that's in there and is available to you. Here's a couple of pictures of how it looks. So in the first, you have on person level, how would it look on person level if a person sets it up or if you do it for him. On the second side or the next, you have how it looks on organization, how to set it up there. And here, what we do is simply provide you with candidates that are ready to be imported. Yes. I'm skipping here because I planned for 25 minutes. I have 15, so I'm simply skipping a few slides here, sorry about that. What I also just want to say is we have enabled available updates in Pure. So available updates is a way for you to have your records in Pure in sync with what is in DataCite. But we are not only updating, if you opt into this solution here, we are not only updating the records that were imported from DataCite, we are making sure that we can update the records that you have added, the datasets record you have added also manually in Pure. So what we do is we simply use the DOI we have in Pure and look how is that DOI, what is the record looking in DataCite based on this DOI, and then we compare them. And then we have put in logical rules where you can decide how to handle these updates. So you can simply set up logical rules saying, hey, I just want to have it looking like DataCite, just overwrite my data so it's the same as DataCite. Or you can go in and say, I want a little bit more control, so just give me the updates and I'll manually go in and decide which data is the correct one you had in Pure already, or the one that DataCite is giving to you. We call it available updates. We have it on research output. I love the feature, so therefore I also implement it on Dataset. And the second thing we have been working on, this is just a picture of how it looks. The second thing we have worked on is versioning. Versioning was giving us a headache. So what happens in DataCite is that, let's say you have a fixture where you upload your things and you mint the DOI, you get it back, and DataCite have a version of your record. If you go into your fixture and you change something and you pass that on to DataCite, what DataCite will do is they will create a new version of that. And then they will have a new DOI and they will have a new ID in DataCite. And then we will import it again, and then you have duplicates in Pure. And we had examples of records where we got 7 versions of the same DataCite record because DataCite had that. So we didn't really want that. What we wanted in Pure was we wanted the latest version. So whatever DataCite thinks is the latest version of that record, that is the one we want in Pure. And when we used available update, we wanted to be updated with the latest version of Pure. So we found a way of doing that, and I have had some really nice Pure colleagues around the world helping me test, and I can see Lund University is here, so a big hand of applause. We have Manchester helping us out testing all of this, so we think we have gotten it now. So we simply, when we search for something, for a record, if you look for a record, we get the latest versions into Pure. But we have at the same time made it possible. So if you search for a specific DOI, we will be able to bring in that exact version. So if your researcher for some reason was only involved in version 2 of a dataset and not version 3, he can still go in, find version 2 and pull that into Pure. I'm crossing my fingers. So far we think it's working, but it gave us headaches for a while. Yeah, and just a few notes on it. While we were looking at DataCite, we also cleaned up a little bit around our minting of DOI features. So one thing was we got a little bit annoyed that we couldn't get more records with ORCID IDs coming into Pure. Then we figured out, well, we're actually not sending ORCID IDs to them, so perhaps we should stop complaining. So we went in and cleaned up, so now when you mint a DOI in Pure and you send person information to DataCite, we also send authorized IDs to DataCite, and a little bit of mapping and a little bit of cleanup. So for those of you who are minting DOIs, you should find it a little bit better. And what we also did was, many of you, and thank you so much for that, for those of you who had a data monitor, we got a lot of improvement suggestions in. We killed our data monitor integration, of course, because it wasn't working anymore. But we went through all of these ideas on how could we improve data monitor, and we put that into our DataCite. And I think we managed to get most of these good ideas from you put into our integrations.